Yo guys, okay, so what am I saying? Bitcoin pushing all-time highs. Where can Solana outperform? And why in the hell do I have a sell zone on my chart if I am then extremely bullish? All that in today's video. You know the drill by now. If you want to new to the content, drop me a comment. I'd love to say hi to you. For all the other guys that's been joining and watching the content over the time, yeah, let me know. Let me know where you're at. Let me know where you're at. Let's get the live stream going. Okay. So Bitcoin, as we know, realistically, then when we start reaching a top or at least a bit of a retrace, a buy the dip moment, the market will always give us strong bearish divergence. This is not to be confused as a bearish signal necessarily. It's just telling us that the market is slowing down. And there's one critical rule that I always say with any strong bearish divergence is when it's identified, meaning the price goes and makes a higher high, but the RSI at the bottom does not do that, does the opposite. It's a bullish signal until we lose that first pivot, that first point where the divergence gets marked out. If we fall below that level, okay, then we need to worry. So where we're at now, we've got yet again another strong bearish divergence on Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, but we're still above that initial pivot. So it's a bullish signal nevertheless. Okay. I also shared with you guys last week, real quick, the way that I look at managing my expectations. The easiest way to try and explain that is, as we know, that Fibonacci levels basically rules and guides everything that I do within trading. And the best way to point it out, if you look at the sequence of the numbers, meaning 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and so forth, it means that if we've got 5 consecutive blue weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we get the 6th one, we can wait and expect there's going to be 8 of them, which means we're at 7 and we're going now for 8. Okay. If we do get 9 consecutive blue weeks, the next Fibonacci number would be 13 in the cycle, which means then we can dream even bigger. So in 2 weeks' time, we're going to have to make tough decisions regarding our bullish or bearish bias. One thing I also want to point out to you guys on the weekly time frame of Bitcoin, I would say moon target, meaning if we can break $134,000 for price for Bitcoin, meaning we need people being very greedy very soon, that will then unlock the door for more. But as long as we stay below that area, this swing sell zone does carry some weight because we are slowing down. It's evident in the charts. The divergences are getting stronger, meaning price is not as high above the pivots anymore, which means it's not going to take a lot of retrace for us to actually fall below that line and swing the tide. So that is something we need to worry about. Okay, now that sets the tone for the bias, the larger time frame analysis. What do I have to support the fact that we could potentially see 13 bullish weeks? So if you look at this from the legacy point of view, we know that the Dixie is cross-correlated with Bitcoin, which means that when Bitcoin pumps, the Dixie needs to dump. When Bitcoin creates all-time highs, the Dixie bottoms out. When the Bitcoin creates all-time bottoms, the Dixie tops out. Okay, so as far as this goes, the Dixie has been trending since Bitcoin's inception from 2009 upwards. And Bitcoin in turn, while that was happening, still went through mass adoption and it's probably not gone through the entire adoption cycle. Not everybody has Bitcoin, but it's been trending upwards with retraces, short periods when the Dixie pumped, where Bitcoin then had, created lows. Now, a super cycle idea does carry some weight because what will happen then in Bitcoin's performance if we find a situation where the Dixie starts moving down and retraces, because we have now lost a critical lateral range for the Dixie, which means this thing is turning bearish, which then supports the crazy that I'm sharing with you guys, that there is the potential for Bitcoin then to go through 134 and even more. Now, I have for the longest of times been giving you guys the target at $120,000 a Bitcoin as my potential top call for the bull market. And it's based on this chart, looking at the halving cycles of Bitcoin, halving 1, 2, 3, those are the vertical red lines, and the projected next halving, which should be in around March 2028. And then using that and putting a time scale on them and finding that there's a coincidence, 32.8% of the time between it, Bitcoin tops out each time, and at 61.8 or the 618% of the time between the halvings, Bitcoin bottoms down to give us a bear market, which means that we still have time, at least until November, September this year, for the bull top to be in. And then only we need to be out of the markets for at least up until August 2026 next year. And that's when the most of the punishment will then occur. Okay, so larger time frame bias, I think, is set. You guys know where I'm at. Now we just need to zoom in and look at this setup in greater detail, because I need to find myself a nice entry to get in with the move, because the last setup was a short. And I also just need to understand that from that bigger point of view, I mean, this is the 4-hour trade for a living, time frame. That bigger weekly point of view, there's certain areas where price cannot fall below, where I'm not supposed to be bullish. Okay, let's just bring that line over from the weekly time frame, and that's this line over here. Very simple, $104,000. That's it. Anything between where we are now and 104 is now still to be seen bullish hunting grounds, on the basis that the divergence, although bearish divergence, is still in our favor. Now, and second part of the stream, and this is the part that before I'm going to give you the Bitcoin setup, the physical setup I'm going to take, is the part where I'm talking to you guys about whether Solana and ETH is going to start waking up. And that's a worry, because this trap, this extremely bullish bias that I'm sharing with you guys now has got a caveat to it. Okay, what if I'm wrong? Now, the chart that I'm looking at that puts me in that point where I'm saying, what if I'm wrong, is this one, when I'm comparing Bitcoin's performance to the total market cap, the total market cap 2, and the total market cap 3. And what I find is that although Bitcoin, from a daily point of view, is not giving me any signs that this is done going higher, the total market cap is suffering from hidden bearish divergence. So unless we have $0.2 of $1 trillion entering or value getting added to the market, remember, you don't need a lot of money to push price up higher, but you do need supply being out of the market for that to happen. In order for us to break the hidden bearish divergence on the total market cap that's currently plaguing, and it's because of the alts not performing well, there needs to be some more upward momentum. And Bitcoin slowing at the moment, showing signs of a slowing momentum, is what worries me. Okay. Now, the total market too, when we take out Bitcoin out of the equation and just look at the altcoins, we're sitting in an imbalance at the moment, suffering from hidden bearish divergence, because we have not made a higher high yet. So the alts, total market 2, could find themselves going, best case scenario, maybe down $0.2 of $1 trillion, and or even make a lower low, and then only start putting in a bottom, which means the relief rallies that we're getting with Ethereum at the moment, Solana at the moment, and some of the other coins, because they're all getting stuck with hidden bearish divergence. Look at that RSI, way up high, price way low, could mean that they still need to go down some. And it means that Bitcoin, if it doesn't come to the party and show us some strong demand, is going to get dragged down because of these lower alts. Or potentially it's just a signal that the market is not ready to give us an alt season, or maybe never going to give us an alt season in the future, which means that half of the market at this stage, or 60% of them, 40% of the market, is going to have a horrible time. What do I mean by that? Well, Bitcoin dominance is sitting at around 64% at the moment. So which means 36% of everybody is not feeling happy at this stage. Something worth noting. Okay. Something else that I want to show you guys is, leading into our Bitcoin setup now, is talking about the short term, the 4 hour, where can things go to? And the point and figure chart is brilliant at giving us destinations. I use this as a destination map. When it creates these gaps, market will rally to that area often. And in most times, then there will be a reaction. Doesn't necessarily mean a low, but there will be a reaction of some sorts, which means that we can trade off those levels. So we know price is going to want to turn the tide. And where we're at right now, we're in a swing sell zone. So if the market wants to turn the tide, we're in an area where there's very low liquidity, and everybody that was maybe shorting, the whales, maybe selling into the demand, will look here to start selling further to drive their narrative home so that they can buy that 104 area, which is currently sitting in as a support level. Okay. And something else that I could potentially then share with you guys as well is that there is some CME gaps sitting at these lower levels. Something worth noting, we know CME gaps has a tendency to get filled. They're not enormous, but they are there. So there might be whale liquidity waiting for us at 100K. So if we go to 104 and we get there really quickly, we might wick to 96, 97, which is an area that I'm really interested in going swing long again, and then continue on with its day. Remember, a wick doesn't necessarily mean that support is lost or anything like that. If all of this makes sense and it's sitting away, let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section, and then I will look at the trades. Now, before we do that, guys, I trade on PrimeXBT. You're more than welcome to come and trade with me. If you open your PrimeXBT account today using my partner link in the video description, there's deposit bonuses or discount on trading fees, whatever you want to do. So it makes trading cheaper, or it gives you more money into your pocket. You can choose. The link's in the video description. And in addition to that, you'll also then get access to some of my Discord features. The stuff I do. I trade with everybody in the Discord. I've got so many to load this one. I trade with the guys in the Discord, and I will be live with everybody after the stream again. There's some people waiting there already, and more than welcome to join in there. And in addition, you also get access to my buddy indicator. Okay. Now, the buddy indicator gives you longs and gives you shorts. So it makes life very simple. Hidden bullish divergence, enter between the purple lines, wait for the TPs. It's as simple as that. Okay, now let's talk about this Bitcoin entry looking for. Maybe before I do that, let's go to the comments and say hi to you guys. So let's see what we've got here. Hello, Dean. Nice to see you here. Dennis, Renee, as always, Liesel. Thanks for joining in live with me. Ivan, how are you doing, my friend? I see Jason is here. Chris, bear moon, guys. I like that one, a bear moon. Yes, this is a bear moon analysis. I'm really looking for the moon, but I'm worried that I might need to be bearish. The nice thing about trading, guys, is you do not need to choose. With trading, you can play both sides of the market. You just need to make sure that your risk management is in place. If short then plays up nicely, you're in money. And if the long plays nice, you're in money. There'd be just a cost to finding out which one is going to trade. Okay, that's all. So let's get Bitcoin onto the 4-hour time frame. I see my internet is lagging again. I've been struggling with it the whole day. I do apologize for that. I do not create the charts or the price action nor internet. So if we look at this thing from a 4-hour point of view, we're sitting in an imbalance area. So what happened over the weekend? Okay, so we didn't create any real bearish divergence. We sit in an imbalance zone. So let's mark that out, where price then solves quickly. That's typically what happens. And this is the reload zone for more. This is where short players are going to try and push lower. Now, what did I teach you guys on the weekly time frame? If you've got 6 consecutive candles, you dream big. But what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So if this 4-hour candle, which closes in 3.5 hours time, goes white, bearish, it then cements back into over, and that the market is going to push down a little bit lower. Now, because of the higher time frame, this is the area where I'm going to want to try and look for a demand zone buy. So let's mark out the demand zone. There's a demand zone sitting right there. And I would say that that's a significant demand zone, noting the fact that we had a really big leave the market, that range. Now, where's the institutional candle sitting? Right there, where the money then got recycled. And 50% of that would typically be the area where I would target my next long. Okay, which means that I'm expecting, if price wants to go on higher, that might hold. And the area where I need to enter would be from 108 onwards, pushing then deeper into my weekly sell zone, which takes my target to 120, and noting fair well that would probably be a TP, maybe a TP1 or a TP2 for you guys. And then trying to push for that 135 level and then moon, which means that I'm going to keep that one. I won't necessarily TP at that level. This then by itself is a 14 risk to reward ratio. So if you take this setup, simple risk management for you guys, and you risk within that gray zone $100 of your capital, which means that at that level there will be $1,400 worth of profit. Now I know for well that we're going to be taking 60% off the table at that level, which means that you won't necessarily walk away with half, and then there will be another $600 to be made. So you'll be walking away with about $900 worth of profit if this analysis plays out. That's a nice risk to reward, okay? Which means you need to be wrong 8 more times just to delete this one trade. If you look at the track record and the setups I've shared with you guys, we entered long there and it failed. We entered short there, played out beautifully. We entered another long, which, well, we didn't enter that one. It never triggered. Then we entered a short, played out nicely as well. So we had 2 shorts. We went long. It pumped that weekend beautifully. Then we took this other side of the market because it looked bearish. And it dumped and there. And we've been going long ever since the market bottomed out at 74. Okay. So it's a very simple way to look at the market. It's a very simple way to trade. So that's what I'm waiting for. That's everything that I wanted to share with you guys. You guys know what you need to do to join me in the Discord. Links in the video description. Open your Prime account today. Last week I had the promo for people to get access to the premium group. That, however, has passed now, guys. So I do apologize. If you didn't capitalize, you can still come and trade with me. And it's as simple as that. Okay, there you have it, guys. Thanks so much. I'll be in the trade and chat channel with you guys during the run of the day. And yeah, that's it. You have a lovely day. Thanks for taking time watching me live. I'll be seeing you guys shortly.